food is such an integral part of our culture when it comes to celebrating occasions or going out to celebrating big milestones. It etches into people's memories.
Clientele in that area was highly educated, well traveled, knew their food. So that was something which we knew from day one.
Our cocktails on the menu can give a tough fight to any cocktail bar or any speakeasy bar, not only in Hyderabad but across the country.
And when we did our whole planning about how do we go about the whole product, the presentation, like I said, the conveyor belt, and also our different offerings in the menu, we knew that the client already knew about it. It was so we couldn't sell something which would just pass off.
The buffet culture was quite prominent, but sushi in general was a growing trend and now it's really caught on. So we thought, okay, why not really make this the center attraction of the experience that we're trying to curate?
We've been pretty successful on how the format worked and the kind of clients that are coming and how we were able to churn out the volumes we are doing in that small space.
You should never want your team to feel that I'm a salaried employee, I'm working from X amount of time to X amount of time, and after that my involvement is done. Make them feel that accountability and the ownership of delivering the standards and the quality that has been set. And I think that culture has to translate outlet to outlet, franchise to franchise, to ensure that the brand is essentially holding true to its roots.
The franchisee, what were the different models, we are at the moment open because what we are more looking at getting an ideal partner first.
And who has the willingness to be involved and who's passionate, right? I think passion is what defines longevity, right? If you're actually passionate and are willing to be involved and grow with the brand and grow yourself as well, I think that is the biggest criteria.
You are rated 4.7 on Google and 4.6 on Zomato. That too not with 50 or 100 reviews. It's more than about 1,000 reviews in each of these.
People to share your food, your brand, your pictures with their friends, with their family, so that people build that awareness and eventually want to mark this on their wish list to go to.
This particular brand which I'm talking about is in a segment of Asian cuisine. Today, the advantage of Asian cuisine is it's accepted in Hyderabad, it's accepted in Hong Kong, it's accepted in Assam. You go anywhere, Asian cuisine, noodles, soup, nowadays momos, everyone is eating them, everyone is having them. So that's one advantage which this particular brand has. One more biggest advantage I see in this brand, because they are in that particular category of business, Asian cuisine has the lowest food cost compared to any other cuisine. Correct me if I'm wrong, both of you, but its food cost comes roughly around between 30 to 35%, whereas all other products which I've seen, most of the other products which I have seen, the food cost itself is about 40% onwards. So that's one single biggest advantage which I see in this particular cuisine, and which could help in better profitability and quicker ROIs for a person choosing this particular franchise. So quickly to introduce, we all are from the same school, in the sense we went to the same school, though years apart. I'm much older than both these guys. So, Ajay Harinath, I think he has more than 15-20 years experience in running some of the best restaurants in Hyderabad. He is Arman, again from my school. They have partnered together with some other good friends and they have started this concept called Kokukai. So either of you could start it off, and you can say how the journey actually began, why the name, why the logo, what cuisine you're selling. Just to add to it, the other day I had a guest from Delhi. I took him to this place and we had a tower full of sushis which they gave. It was a mix of avocado and it was a mix of prawn and other. Amazing. The guy said, I've never eaten such a sushi in my life, and so much sushi in my life all one go. So you can more explain your rotary concept which you have put, the live sushi is in front of your eyes, they're making it, the cocktails which you are known for in Hyderabad, and where all you want to go and which cities, and store sizes, approximate some numbers, ROIs. Probably you can take off, and wherever I have to pitch in, I'll pitch in again.
Great. No, thank you, Mr. Krishnamon, for first of all setting the context, and I'm glad that Kokukai happens to be one of your preferred choices beyond the drunken driving, even for the food and the product.
True that.
But I think, to talk about the journey, right? Essentially, Kokukai started with a common love for Pan-Asian food, and that's what the name really symbolizes as well, right? Coco in a lot of Asian countries is a slang for with love, and Kokukai stands for like seafood with love, essentially. So that was the concept, and I think even beyond food, right? I think today's day and age, when people go out to dine, it's people are not looking for only food. They want an experience, they want a vibe, they want something which is more immersive, and especially food is such an integral part of our culture when it comes to celebrating occasions or going out to celebrating big milestones. It etches into people's memories. So how do we make that more memorable? How do we make that integral as a part of their overall ecosystem? I think that was the thought process, and the vision was very clear right from day one. How do we build a quirky, immersive, profitable, and scalable brand with experiences being the center around everything? And that is where we decided to launch Kokukai, located in Kokapet, currently in Hyderabad. You did mention the rotating sushi, essentially, which essentially is a term called kaiten sushi, originated in Japan, and very popular across Japan and many other countries across the world. Having said that, India still did not see a lot of restaurants adopting to this, while the buffet culture was quite prominent. But sushi in general was a growing trend and now is really caught on. So we thought, okay, why not really make this the center attraction of the experience that we're trying to curate? It gives a very immersive kind of an experience. So what we've done is we have a rotating conveyor belt where essentially people can come. We have a rotating menu every week. We change the menu. We have certain number of veg offerings, certain number of non-veg offerings. People can pick up whatever they like, and at the end of the meal, they pay accordingly. We also have a really nice live kitchen, so people actually get to see how the food is being prepared, the hygiene levels, the quality of produce that we use, and that essentially forms an integral part of the overall experience. Right? It makes it more fun, it makes it more entertaining when the chef is actually rolling your sushi in front of you and it's coming straight from the table to your plate. So it gives that sense of involvement. I think another key aspect was our cocktail program, right? The way we've gone about ensuring that we have a really, really strong cocktail program that we've put in place, and that's what really also sets us apart from your run-of-the-mill Asian restaurants. Right? I think our cocktails on the menu can give a tough fight to any cocktail bar or any speakeasy bar, not only in Hyderabad but across the country. Right. And yeah, I think branding is an integral part. Right? The brand was built to scale. So we did a lot of emphasis on how can we make this brand memorable, how can we make it fun, how can we make it quirky, and that was the story behind our famous mascot, which is essentially a cat that we named Coco. So it brings a lot of relatability, it helps with a lot of storytelling, especially on digital platforms which is the go-to medium to actually sort of communicate what you want to your consumers, to your clients. So it adds that fun element and the relatability element and also helps with scale.
Ajay, something to add to this?
So actually, I'll go a step behind. Actually, when we first met you to sort of shortlist the property, and we did go through so many properties between Banjara Hills, Jubilee Hills, High Tech City, and finally we decided on Kokapet because we wanted to be in a new market.
True.
We know that there's a next 15, 20 year story in Kokapet, and that's when we decided that we'll take up that property.
No.
And also we wanted to do a small format to see how it works, and we've been pretty successful on how the format worked and the kind of clients that are coming and how we were able to churn out the volumes we are doing in that small space. That's why we know that the next few outlets we know that we can do a little better in terms of size. And
this is about 2,500, 3,000
yeah, this is around
square feet?
2,500 square feet.
And you would ideally look at what, 3,500 to 4,000
yeah,
would be an ideal
3
size?
to 4,000 is the ideal size which we know, which is a 100-seater. That's what our target is. Mm-hmm. Currently we are a 75-80-seater outlet.
And in terms of floor, you want to be only on the ground floor or any floor, it doesn't matter.
In fact, ground floor will be ideal, but you know how the real estate works. So definitely ground floor is the first choice for especially a format like this. Because this is something which it's quick meals, very kid friendly, and these kind of things happens impulse also. People are walking and driving by, they will see it and stop. Apart from people are actually planning to come there, but ground floor definitely will be a great advantage.
Did a bit of market research, or I would say a Google search. I've seen that you are rated 4.7 on Google and 4.6 on Zomato. That too not with 50 or 100 reviews. It's more than about 1,000 reviews in each of these, which anything above 4 is great. Anything about 4.5 is awesome. You're on 4.7, 4.6, which is extremely good. How could you reach there in terms of
I think one of the
your team?
challenges we knew from before was the clientele in that area was highly educated, well traveled, knew their food. So that was something which we knew from day one. And when we did our whole planning about how do we go about the whole product, the presentation, like I said, the conveyor belt, and also our different offerings, the menu, we knew that the client already knew about it. It was so we couldn't sell something which would just pass off.
Inferior product just
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
sake of selling?
So, and keeping that in view, we kept working not only in the way we serve, the menu, the staffing, the presentation. So that sort of, I think, helped us in gaining these number of reviews.
How about marketing? Like most of the brands today, it's been happening slowly. They're shifting towards social media, Instagram, influencer marketing. Have you been doing that, or do you use micro influencers, or how could you help if I take your franchise in some location? How do you get the crowds initially into that? Obviously, once they come in, word of mouth and repeat, I presume happens a lot. Like I've been to your place multiple times because I like the food.
Right.
And how do you get new customers? Social media, Instagram, or what are you using?
I think social media is a primary or number one medium to get in customers.
I think
Yeah.
social media today is like your new age word of mouth, right? And it's something that is a great tool if you know how to leverage it right to deliver that storytelling experience, deliver that narrative, especially for food, right? Where essentially it's not about being a discovery platform. It's about how can you be shareable, right? You want people to share your food, your brand, your pictures with their friends, with their family, so that people build that awareness and eventually want to mark this on their wish list to go to. If I'm in that area or if I'm in that city, I want to go and visit this place. So initially as well, I think we leveraged obviously your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, lots of micro influencers, and eventually I think the biggest sort of what really worked for us was social media beyond the content, the branding, the engaging quirkiness is the user generated content, right? While influencers becomes more of a push, and most people today know that it's no one's stupid, so everyone understands it's a paid sort of engagement and you're paying people to do this. Might help initially, but eventually what would help you succeed from a long-term point of view is being able to generate content through users, through your customers, who people are coming and organically clicking pictures of your food, organically clicking pictures of themselves in front of your restaurant or on a table and sharing that across. So I think it's a great tool to really leverage and even to scale and grow.
In fact, when we introduce new menus, that's the only way we do actually, and which has always helped us.
I think you keep changing your menu based on the weather, based on almost every month you keep adding or moving some things in your menu. Is that the way it works, or?
Yes, so I think like we run a lot of seasonal menus. So for instance, summer just passed by, so we had a whole menu themed around mangoes, which is essentially a summer fruit.
Sure.
So we had mango-based sushi, we had mango-based cold soup, we had a lot of salads, which are more
Yeah.
fresh and refreshing. So we do keep dropping these seasonal menus. Summer, monsoon, now we are looking to launch a ramen menu. And the whole menu also is something we constantly innovate on, right? So while ensuring that we are maintaining that consistency and staying true to our roots. Apart from that, we do curate a lot of experiences when it comes to specific events that we run. So recently we had done a cocktail-focused event called Room 13. So that was more around. So 13 is usually a taboo number when it comes to superstition and everything. So we wanted to make that speakeasy kind of a vibe take people back to the Prohibition era. So we had like covered plastic glasses with funky branding around the stickering to conceal that it was a cocktail glass. We had innovative food that we brought on. And yeah, so these are some examples of the events and the experiences that we want to curate in the future as well.
Say next 3 years, 5 years, which all cities do you want to be? And also, what are the models you're looking at? FICO, FOCO, for people who wouldn't know about it. Franchising has multiple options wherein you can do a thing called as a FICO model where franchise invested company operated model where you invest and the brand runs the store for you. Franchise invested franchise operated model where you invest and run the place on your own. There are very few places where it's CIFO, it's called company invested franchise operated models. Also, some people, very few people do that. What's your ideal mix or ideal? Also, in the future, would you like to have given a choice between equity and a franchisee? What would you prefer more? Would you like an equity partner to come in, or would you like a franchisee to come in? Also, in franchisee, would you like a master franchise for a territory coming in, or what's your game plan and which cities in the next 5 years?
So one point, the equity partner is something on a long term, maybe 3 years down the line, we will
Not looking at it.
not immediately. But of course, the franchisee, whatever the different models, we are at the moment open because what we are more looking at getting an ideal partner first with somebody whom we can work, and maybe that guy has that ambition to grow more. So that's something which is on our cards now, and that's how we're evaluating people initially.
Would me owning a property becoming your franchisee be an added advantage, or wouldn't it?
Maybe it is. Yeah. See, one is because it's not
The
the cost,
rental is
but
virtual,
no, yeah,
so
it's virtual. But also, you don't have the long stability because you can invest more to build it better.
absolutely. And mall versus high street.
See, I think mall always has that advantage, but then the costs are also very high.
So that
So it depends on which mall and which catchment area that mall is located.
cloud,
Cloud is something we don't have immediately on our cards.
IT parks, a pop-up store or a week.
Malls, high street, both have their advantages and pros and cons, right? Like Ajay mentioned, malls have inherently high footfall, security, managed maintenance. High street, on the other hand, helps you build your brand identity if the location is right. I think location is key. But we're open to IT parks, we're open to malls, we're open to high street as long as the location is good. Visibility needs to be there. Ideally, a good balance between a corporate and a residential area, because corporates help you really bring in that weekday revenue, and residential helps you with the weekend and the night revenue. So I think a good balance in these areas would work. When it comes to someone owning their property, I mean, it's always a plus, like Ajay mentioned, but it's not a prerequisite.
Also, as you mentioned, cloud kitchen is not on the radar at this point of time. I think you are going in the right direction because having dealt with hundreds of brands, almost every food brand in the country, we have either found a property or a franchisee for them. I generalize food brands into two categories. One is you go there for the food. Second is you go there for the experience. I won't take names, but there are some QSR brands. It's all about the food. You are not bothered whether you're sitting in a luxury air conditioned place or you're sitting in a sofa in front of yours. You just want to eat it. That's about it. It could be a pizza. It could be a topmost brand in the world. They are not experiential brands. But the brands like yours and microbreweries or some places, you go there also for the experience. And as you said, and as I have experienced, yours is an experiential brand. I don't come there only for the food. I come for the whole experience of going with the family, going with my friends over there. So for you, probably, I think more than a cloud kitchen, a regular restaurant could work better for you, is my perception, which you are also, I think, thinking on the same lines. And ideal franchisee in terms of, I would say, gender or in terms of experience in food industry, is experience in food industry a tick mark or a no mark for you? Or ideally, if you could choose and say this is the ideal kind of a franchisee I wanted in terms of age, in terms of whatever.
See, I personally believe age, gender doesn't really matter, right? Like
Yeah.
we amongst ourselves come from various different age brackets, and I think what is more important is finding the person who has a shared vision with the right mindset, and who has the willingness to be involved and who's passionate, right? I think passion is what defines longevity, right? If you're actually passionate and are willing to be involved and grow with the brand and grow yourself as well, I think that is the biggest criteria. Having a shared vision, shared work ethic, and I think finding a franchisee or a partner for that matter is it's a long-term relationship, right? Very similar to, say, any kind of friendship or marriage. So I think transparency and communication becomes extremely important, right, on both sides. And having that similar wavelength is the key criteria. But obviously, yes, having the risk appetite and also having the investment threshold is a tick mark. But I wouldn't say age or gender. Maybe
Yeah.
Ajay can add to that.
So like the age and gender, whatever, it's main the passion he needs. He's interested in this line of business. Otherwise, just as an investor, there are a lot of other options which will give a better return or a safer return. But yeah, he's doing this because he wants to be passionate about the food, the cuisine, and the growth. All these three have to be part of his passion. So that's when he gets into this kind of a business.
So, one more thing they say about retail and especially food retailing is if there are 10 parameters you take for selecting a particular thing, I think parameter 1 to parameter 9 they say is all about location, location, and location. So, I think that should be a very important reason why you select or do not select a franchisee, because again there's a saying in Hindi, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. So the brand recall, visibility, and the ease of parking, the ease of the overall experience from the time you get down from your car to you come back to your car matters a lot. So location per se, I think, is and should be one of the main reasons why you would or you could select a franchise. One more topic, a bit, I think it's a bit tricky or hard to talk about. The fact is, the biggest challenge which I see most of the retailers are facing today is manpower retention. So, a lot of restaurants, other day I had a client coming from Gurgaon. So, a very famous restaurant, we went and two tables next to us, they said the food is not good here, please go back. We walked out. So, tomorrow I open your franchisee. The biggest challenge for me is the quality of food and this thing. So, how are you taking care that the manpower? Are you giving me all the manpower, training them and all, or how are you taking care that any point of time the quality of food I get in you get in your outlet comes in my outlet? I think most of the franchises, that's the biggest reason why they would sign with you as a franchise. How are you supporting them in terms of manpower?
See, I think not only manpower, right? I think what we are looking to have more or less like an end-to-end support that we are willing to give, right? Everything from location selection, like you mentioned, is key, right? Especially in this industry, to helping with the manpower, training, menu innovations, marketing, branding. So all of this is something we are willing to support with regular audits, etc. I think maintaining that consistency and quality is key, like you rightfully mentioned, right? There are so many brands that I don't want to name, but at the top of my mind, that once they reach a certain scale, the consistency drops, the quality drops, and it tarnishes the brand image overall, right? So it's not good for a long-term sort of thing. I think that is where, when we said finding the right partner with a passion for that, who's willing to be involved, I think that is a key metric. And then the second metric around retention of manpower. So the industry is such that the attrition is slightly higher as compared to most of the other industries, considering the growing competition. But I think it's also important to sort of inculcate a great working culture, right? Maintain that open line of communication with the top management, with the team, making them feel more like owners rather than renters, right? You should never want your team to feel that I'm a salaried employee, I'm working from X amount of time to X amount of time, and after that my involvement is done. Make them feel that accountability and the ownership of delivering the standards and the quality that has been set. And I think that culture has to translate outlet to outlet, franchise to franchise, to ensure that the brand is essentially holding true to its roots.
So you've been able to retain a lot of your manpower from the day you started?
Yes. In fact, like
You what about 1.5, 2 years
Yeah,
since you
almost
started?
1.5
18
year.
months.
But also, I also feel that and I keep saying, let's take more freshers, groom them so that we are able to put them into the whole training, and so that they are there for a longer time because they understand us better.
Where do you select them from? Culinary schools or?
It's a mix of both because say, a lot of culinary schools reach out to us when they have students who want to start their career. So that is a good place. There are a few, manpower consultants who, but then word of mouth again within our employees, they always keep getting. And we say if somebody is fresh, you bring us. We'll be more happy to take somebody who's fresh and then start with us.
Referrals is key. Right?
Yeah.
I think referrals, especially to grow your team, is a very important factor because they are your advocates for your brand. Like someone who's worked there, it's easier for him to sell the culture, the work environment, the brand to his known friends and family than an agency who is selling where it's pure monetary and transaction based.
True. Menu engineering, who does that? You, both of you, or who takes care of your menu
No, so
engineering?
we have a consultant chef who's managing multiple restaurants. So he actually it helps us in the whole menu, not only for the food but also for the bar. And as a company, they're always supporting us to help us change things, like I said, based on the season or based on the a particular occasion. And we are also constantly working on that because the food also, there's a lot of innovation on the way it has been presented or the kind of ingredients that's used. So we are using them to keep us on top of things.
Good. Guys, the reason why I'm asking all these things to them is, see, it's very easy to say, okay, this is my brand, go Google searches, this is my investment, take it or leave it. The reason why I'm asking all these points is I want you to understand how passionate they are, how capable they are, how interested they are, why they are growing this brand today. If I know Ajay and if he wants to do this, he can open 100 centers on his own, but there's a reason why they want you to be a partner today. Any time a franchisee is, he is the guy who knows the local dynamics better. Ajay, his food undoubted, he knows very well about it, better than you. But local dynamics in terms of being there every day, operating, which city, which mall, which high street, what are the rentals, all these dynamics you know better than him in whichever city you are in. So that's where it's a win-win for both of you, where his brand is getting the customer to your table and you locally are managing it. Probably, I wouldn't say better, but equally good as what he has been doing in his own store, being in Hyderabad. So that's the I think win-win situation. And again, I'm asking him all these queries, which most of which you have in your mind. So probably he is answering all those for you. And one more thing I wanted to ask both of you is, are you open for a master licensee kind of a concept for, say, a particular city or state or wherever? Would you be open for a master licensee option? Or you want more of unit franchisees, each guy being there in that particular store doing it kind of a thing?
See, some of the cities which we have in mind and we want to enter is where that city has a scope to grow, let's say, to 2 or 3 outlets. And in that kind of a city, we definitely would like to get our partner on board who has that kind of a vision.
Which are those cities?
So, I mean, if you say look at Vizag or let's say Pune and Bangalore, Bangalore has a huge market. You can have 5, 7 outlets because the city is so big. So in those kind of situations, when we meet somebody, then we'll have that whole plan that, okay, in the next 5 years, this is how we will grow the brand. And if he wants to be part of that, then on day one itself, we will sort of work in a like a master partner,
Mumbai and Delhi?
See, these cities are little, but we want to first establish, let's say, in Pune, Bangalore or Vizag before we look at a larger city.
In terms of the store sizes, because of the real estate cost, could it slightly vary from city to city?
Of course it could. I think ideal for us is between that 3 to 4,000 square feet, what Ajay mentioned, which I think is attainable across cities, irrespective of whichever city we go. And that is why in the format that we built it in as well, right? The thought process was how can we scale this format? So we didn't want to go with 10,000 square feet, 8,000 square feet, large format spaces, considering real estate varies city to city, like a place like Bombay that you just mentioned. 8,000, 10,000 square feet is...
Even the operational costs, bigger the space, bigger the
Exactly.
power bills, bigger
So
bigger
even
the
our current outlet, if you see, is only 2,500 square feet, and we've hardly used about 600, 700 square feet for the kitchen.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
And we want to keep it that way. In fact, all our formats, we want it to be small. It shouldn't look very large.
What I like about your kitchen is live clean. I see what's coming onto my plate. That's something which I presume you will
That's
follow
something, yeah,
in
we will
Yes.
definitely
all the
continue with the same
places
format
which.
where we have a live kitchen, we have the live sushi conveyor, very small bar, and a cozy kind of a, setup.
The
Absolutely.
experience will be consistent, right? Irrespective of the city, irrespective of maybe slightly bigger, slightly smaller, but the experience that a Coco as a brand has to offer will be consistent across all outlets.
Nice. And also in terms of beyond India, are you looking at in the future or?
I don't think we have thought so far yet, to be very frank. But yeah, like I said, within India, we have these 3, 4 cities, and we are already speaking to various people who, have shown interest because after visiting us.
So guys, if you want to go in, move in fast. Ajay is talking to a lot of people. Um Also, the overall concept, what I visualize this is this particular segment is having a huge. I think the CAGR is around 7.2%, if I'm not mistaken, for this particular Asian cuisine which is there, and there are very few pan-India players in this segment who have been there, proven themselves, and trying to do. And certainly in your particular, the kind of menu you're doing, I have hardly seen anyone who's pan-India. To sum up the whole thing, if I would like to ask you, or if I'd like to mention to the audience who are seeing this, uh, if someone wants to take their franchise, either call on the numbers which are displayed, or you can come down here, experience the place, experience the product, meet the promoters, understand their mindsets, understand what all they have done, and then try to evaluate it. And I would say food. One more thing which I would say is, this is I always say, one of the most thankless business in the world is food business. 100 people come, they see, they are happy with your food, they won't say anything, they go off. One guy is not happy, he'll go and tell 100 people this.
Yeah.
Don't go to this. So it's the most interesting. I used to run affordable QSR, and I was a franchisee for one of the topmost coffee chains in one of the topmost in Google. In fact, I had my coffees, and we it's I mean, food, everyone loves food, who doesn't? And it's a fantastic segment to get into. At the same time, the most 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. you have to dedicate yourself, and only then I think I've seen some brands, so many beautiful brands. The owner, a South Indian Thali brand which is there, three brothers, last 30 years, even today you go, they're standing there and seeing what's happening. That's the kind of dedication. That's
True.
why they are what they are today. Otherwise, every year there are hundreds of brands which come. He's the best example. What food industry lasts 15 years, 20
Yeah,
years?
about 15 years.
15 plus years he's been there. So the reason why he's been there is the kind of passion he has towards, the kind of brands he has created. I know. And most, if not all, the brands he has created have been successful. If you want to know what, come down and meet Ajay. And did we mention about the approximate investments which are going into this?
See, typically when you look at the 3, 4 thousand square feet, we are at that 3 crore to 4 crore kind of a benchmark which you will need.
Okay. If I have the prerequisite, I would say, requirements, would you be able to help me out with, say, debt funding or something like that, or could you give me a project report, a bankable project report, saying that this is what which I could go to my bankers and ask for a loan?
So we definitely will make a project report and give based on the location, the size, and post that it is left for the
Yeah, obviously,
yeah.
if my credentials or whatever are good, the
And the
bank would.
project report also backed by what numbers what we have, and
Absolutely.
also on the costs and other vendor management, the manpower and all that. So that's how it's a complete project report which will help him take that decision.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the advantages we have is that we've built such a strong vendor network, especially Ajay being in the industry for so long. So there is no trial and error anymore. Everything is. We have good relationships with most of our vendors. We know who to go for X, Y, Z. at a build-out stage, at even post that design stage, and at the end product stage as well. So that becomes an added advantage.
Absolutely. So, call, message, mail, reach us, reach them, come down, we'll talk, and let's hope to partner with him soon. Before starting off this itself, he gave me a warning. He said, "Bloody, you called me on a Friday. Friday is the day where I make most of my business. Where at what around 3:15, I have to go back and start counting the cash." Goodbye,
No, no, we
everyone.
have a busy weekend always. So.
I love all the best for you.
Thank you,
and
thank
hope
you,
to see you
Krishna.
soon with
Yeah.
some of these people
Yeah,
around.
thank you.